Hi, everybody. Welcome to our Lunch and Learn. Vanessa's with me today. How's everybody doing? Right on. It's time to get busy. Vanessa, I'm just going to start with this. I want to know what everybody's having for lunch. If you don't know me, I have food issues. My favorite one thus far was a grilled cheese with some mac and cheese of some kind. It was a cheesy deal, but
So comment so that Joe can have lunch envy, okay? Comment in the comments what you're having for lunch today so that he can get hangry by the end of this call.
Yeah, and possibly drool, just in case, right? All right.
Exactly.
Well, let's get to the topic at hand. What are we talking about today?
Oh, Joe, we are talking about the power of the nice to meet you, which is such a critical issue. We talk all the time about the importance of first impressions. And we know that, like, from a very young age, you talk about the importance of first impressions, giving first impressions when you're making friends out in the world, in the dating world, in all of that. But first impressions are just as important in a business relationship as they are in a personal relationship. And that's what we're going to be talking about today.
I could not agree more. And the nice to meet you is it. And for those of you that don't even know what a nice to meet you is or why we're even saying nice to meet you, well, you're going to find out how and what a nice to meet you is and how to use it to really up your game and really your impact on your first impression, because you only got one shot at that. Just one, right?
Yeah, exactly. Just one. And we talk about starting a new relationship the right way, Joe. And I am here to confess that there has been a time or two in my life that I have not started a relationship the right way. I did not make a very strong first impression. And there's one in particular that has haunted me ever since. And it was a business situation. And all I can say is at the time, I had a bit of fatigue over what we were doing. And these new potential business partners came in to do a deal at the company that I worked for at the time. And I will say less than inviting. I was professional, but I didn't go out of my way. I was less than inviting in that situation. And it has haunted me ever since. And you know why it's haunted me? Because we ended up doing a deal with that company. We ended up going into business together. Those people ended up becoming some of my best friends on the planet. And they never let me forget that, even to this day.
Oh boy. Okay. And I got to say, Vanessa, I have had my share of first impression kind of woes, and I think we all have. But what's that? We're going to talk about a solution today about, what is that first, impact? What happens, when you typically leave a meeting?
Yeah.
Typical, right? What's the typical solution when you leave a meeting? You send them an email and say, oh, hey, thanks for meeting today, blah, 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 right?
Or the exchange of business cards or something like that. Yes. But here's the deal, Joe, and this is why this is such an important discussion right now, is because a lot of the relationships that we're having right now, they're not face-to-face.
Right.
So we're having a lot of virtual meetings. We're meeting people online. We're meeting people in different places. And so the social norms and the protocols and the things that we would normally do, even shaking somebody's hand, that's not happening right now. So there has to be, you've got to look for ways to connect with people that are new and fresh and a little bit different than the ways we've relied on for many, many years in the past. Our social norms are changing, and the things that used to be very acceptable and insulting, frankly, if you didn't shake somebody's hand, it was insulting in the past. I still feel weird not shaking hands. But the fact of the matter is, we've got to find other ways to connect with people right now, because that's just not a thing.
No, it is not. And I'm going to share something towards the end of this. I had a digital mishap this morning. I was giving a presentation to 16 people over Zoom, and I had technology failure. And I'm going to tell you what I did because that was a first impression for 16 people. And I'm going to tell you what I did by the end of this presentation. So
okay, we will follow up for sure.
anyway, there's a follow up to this. Anyway,
we will follow up. So Joe, let's go back into the situation where you've just met somebody. Okay,
right.
What is one of the first things we can do? Let's talk about that.
Oh, I so love the nice to meet you gift and a card. And that's what we're talking about today. What we're talking about is this: the ability to touch someone in a unique and meaningful way and make an impact on them so they want to do business with you. And this is an example of one of the things we have at Mailbox Power. This is a nice to meet you card and a gift that is personalized. The card's personalized, and so is that popcorn. You can't really see it from here, but I promise the person you send this to, their name is on that popcorn. It's personalized to them. The greeting card is personalized to them and to us, and what we know and what we've learned. This makes an impact. And I have a rule, Vanessa, and I haven't even talked about it, but I want to talk about it right now. Before I leave a physical meeting, which I haven't done in a minute, but we talked about exchanging business cards was the norm, right?
Mm-hmm.
My rule was I wouldn't leave the parking lot until I sent this type of a gift to that person I just met.
Oh, good.
That was
a personal rule.
Yes, it's a personal rule.
I like it.
Yes, but I now have another rule. I won't go click on another tab or another link after I've left a Zoom meeting without sending a gift to who I just was in a meeting with. And that is big.
What a great habit to develop. And that's great when we can do things like that and put some personal rules in place to help us to connect with people. I think, Joe, if I was going to send this card, I would take it one step further. And guys, I want to mention this for a very particular reason. This card says hello. It's very cute. It's a great design. I would definitely put a merge field on the front of that card. I would definitely put the person's first name on the front of that card if I was sending this out, because I think when people see that, that is the wow factor.
I couldn't agree more. Absolutely. Personalized, right?
Yes.
Personal. Yeah. And that's kind of the deal with us is we love to personalize everything.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So, Joe, you've got a video that we're going to show that just talks a little bit about Mailbox Power and what this is all about and really the impact that it has on people. So let's hop on over here and get this going.
One of our users.
Hi, this is Terry J. Grumo, and we use Mailbox Power to turn cold LinkedIn leads into warm friends that desire to buy from us. In fact, every time we talk to someone from LinkedIn, we send them a card and brownies. Recently, before our presentation, I had a friend come back to me, or a new friend from LinkedIn, said, "I love the way you do business." Guess what? She's processing her payment today. That's what Mailbox Power will do for you. And our results have been our enrollment percentage is up 250%. Our referrals are through the roof, up 300%. And our length of sale has been cut over in half from 31 days to under 14. Thank you, Mailbox Power.
Whew, that was pretty powerful.
That is incredibly powerful, Joe. And the reason, I mean, I don't know if everyone really, if it sunk in what he said there, what Terry said, his enrollments are up 250%, 250%. His referrals are up 300%. And he has cut his sales cycle down, his length of sale down by 50% to 14 days. Now, you guys know what that means. You cut that sales cycle down and you get those repeat sales that much faster. You get money in the bank and revenue that much faster. So the reason all of those things worked for him is because of exactly what you're seeing on screen right now.
Yes. And I know Terry very well, and I know what he's doing. He's creating relationships before he's even asking for business by sending a gift. He puts an actual package in that person's mailbox before he asks for anything. And that is so critical and so important to, like Mary Kay Ash is saying, make me feel important. Never forget this message when working with people. And if you will just remember that, there is an invisible sign hanging around every single person's neck saying, make me feel important. Even, especially those that you have never done business with. And that is the solution that we are putting before you today with Mailbox Power.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And one of the ways you can do that, we just talked about a second ago, but I want to reinforce this because I love these cards, Joe, and I know you're a big fan.
These are my cards. The green one is the one I used last year, and I like to change my nice to meet you up every once in a while, and I actually use the one on the right now. And I'm just going to read the cover of that just in case you can't read it or you're listening right now. It says, one universe, 8 planets, 195 countries, 18,307 islands, 7 seas, and I had the pleasure of meeting you. What a message to get after a first meeting with somebody. Talk about a first impression with caramel covered popcorn. Am I winning? I believe
winning, big winner.
Yes, definitely. So we have so many options for the nice to meet you, and that's what I love. It's not, and you know, nice to meet you is just what I've used. I know there's other things, but I mean, I've been doing this for years now. I think I've sent out 300 or 400 nice to meet yous. 300 or 400.
Wow.
That's crazy.
Wow. You are so good at that, Joe. You are really, really good at that. And guys, you don't just have to say, it's nice to meet you. If you look at that other card that's on the screen right now, it says it's great connecting with you. And then it also puts their first name in that first name merge field. That is incredibly important, is just to use different things, use your own words. But the point is that you're taking it one step further than most people are willing to do. And when you take it one step further, when you put in the extra effort, when you're the one that does that, you are the one that gets remembered. So here's another example of some things that you can say on a card. Here you go. Thanks for connecting. Yeah. Thanks for Zooming with me. Everybody's Zooming these days, Joe.
Zoom is the new living room. That's right.
That's so true. Looking forward to collaborating. Looking forward to working with you. I've heard great things about you. Thanks for taking my call. Thanks for taking my meeting. Thanks for taking my email. Thanks for whatever. Looking forward to serving you. And we have friends in common. These are just a few ideas, guys. I know that you have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of other ideas and things that you could do and you could say to people. But sometimes we get in our own heads a little bit too much. And I want to encourage you to get out of your own head and just put yourself in the receiver's shoes and say, okay, what would I appreciate getting in the mail? If somebody was going to go the extra mile, what would really put a smile on my face or make me feel special or make me feel like this is going to be a great connection?
Couldn't agree more. I love all of these. And I just want to clarify something really quick. If you wind up in the Mailbox Power system, maybe you don't have an account yet. Maybe you're looking at us for the first time. When you get there, there's a category called nice to meet you. And not all of them say nice to meet you. A lot of them say all kinds of other things, just like you're looking at right here.
Yeah. Exactly. So although we generically say nice to meet you cards, it's really that connection, that acknowledgement that we now have a relationship, we've met, and now we're moving on. And this is what I hope in the future. So there's all these different ways to say it, or all the different ways that you can think of to say it, including sign language.
What? ASL? Are you kidding me? Okay, I got to learn that, don't I?
Yes.
I don't know if my fingers will work that way. I'll have to find a pro.
I mean, seriously, even something like that. So when you put it together, and as you can see on your screen, you've got the card here, the inside of the card, you've got brownies, which, by the way, if you haven't tasted our brownies, holy cow, they will seal the deal for you in a heartbeat. Okay. And then on the left of this is a gluten-free brownie. So, but there are loads of other things to choose from. They're not limited to brownies or gluten-free brownies or whatever. There's popcorn, there's all kinds of things. There's candies. There's just, all kinds of things that you can personalize and make someone feel special upon or after that first meeting. And I'll tell you what, we've got so many So many examples, Joe, in this business of people sending that nice to meet you card and then getting the business afterwards, right? So they might have been one proposal out of 3 or 4 that somebody entertained. And I've told the story before of me having a rental property that I needed a new roof. I needed a paint job. In this particular case, I needed a paint job and asked a bunch of different people to give me bids, and I got a bunch of different bids, and they were close enough that I decided that the first person that followed up with me and acknowledged our meeting in any way whatsoever would actually get the business. I didn't have any strong preference on any of the companies, and they all were pretty much the same reviews for each of the companies. And so I sat and waited months. So remember, I was giving updates that, I'm on day 62, nobody's followed up. Finally, somebody said, "Hey, thanks for the opportunity. It was really nice meeting you." Finally, months later. So they still got the business because they were the first to follow up and say something.
If they'd only known.
Seriously, like a big job.
Oh my gosh.
If they had only known. So these are some ideas, guys, but there's also other advantages of adding a gift. It's great to send a card, and I don't want to take anything away from that. But when you send a gift, Joe, talk about the impact of that a second.
Listen, you're making an investment in a relationship. That's what you're doing when you send a gift or a card, both. But when you add that gift, you are really making a statement saying you care and you want to do business with this person, care about them right now. And you don't know them yet. You just met them, but you made an investment in them. Right. I promise this is the deal. They'll answer your emails. They'll answer your texts. They'll answer your calls because you care and you made an investment. That is simple. This is not complicated, folks. This is about relationships and not transactions, right?
Yes.
We talk about that all the time. It's just about creating a relationship. And when people understand that you care about them, and that you're making them feel important, you cannot help but win. It's just, It's there right in front of you. It's just, you have to do something about it and not be the norm.
And you just hit the nail on the head, Joe, not be the norm, because not many people go out of their way to be nice to people. No. Not many people will take that extra step and send someone something in the mail. It's just the way of the world. We're all fast paced and running around and doing things very, very quickly. And not many people have just a second to go send out a card, send out a gift. They don't understand the impact of that, especially if you set it up as a campaign ahead of time, like I know you've done. And we'll come back and talk about that in a minute. But you've got it automated to the extent that people are falling all over themselves, thankful for what you're sending them, and you're doing it in a very cool way. So, Joe, I want to point out something I just read in the chat. Antoinette McDowell says, "I sent brownies to a family after a listing appointment. She was so excited and texted me that the kids were going to make brownie sundaes that night." I love that. Congratulations, Antoinette. That is really a fantastic response and a very common response that we get when we're sending things out to people.
Yeah, absolutely. They're spot on. And when we talk about Sundays, if you haven't warmed one of our brownies up in a microwave and put some ice cream on it, I'm just saying, if you don't know anybody or in Mailbox Power, find somebody and have them send you some brownies, because let me tell you, that will seal the deal alone.
I'm telling you, it is worth, don't go through another cheat day without a brownie. It's well worth it. Well, you know how sometimes you have something and you're like, that wasn't worth the calories. Well, these are well worth it. Let me tell you.
Absolutely. All
right, Joe, you are the pro at sending the nice to meet you. And I know you've received a lot of great response from that.
I have, so many. I couldn't count them. These are 3 examples. It literally took me a couple of minutes to go find 3 examples. And you know what's cool? These people shouted me out on social media. Look at that. That says timeline review at the top, which means I don't put stuff on my timeline unless I approve it. And these 3 people all shouted me out on social media. And that, can you buy that? You can't even buy that. I mean, it's not even an option on, oh, buy this ad. No, you can't buy that. I mean, that's something that is relationship based, and people, look, I've got 3 people who went, wow, he actually really cares. My goodness. And he sent me a gift. How unique is that?
And I happened to do a webinar with you. Oh, I want to say 3 or 4 weeks ago, we were on a webinar for a private group, and you had people fill out your nice to meet you link. And every one of those people got brownies and a card, just like what you're seeing on screen right now, guys. And every one of them, so many of them were like so excited to receive it, and it sealed the deal. Every single one of the people on that webinar is using the system.
That is
every one of them.
Exactly right. Exactly. Yes. Yes. Yes.
So we heard the video earlier, and I want to come back to that point that Terry Gourmand made, Joe, because I think it's really, really important when you're talking about business. It's really nice for us to go back and forth and talk about how nice it is when you send a nice to meet you to a person. But when businesses are doing that for each other, whether you're sending it to a vendor, whether you're sending it to a customer or client, you have the opportunity to shorten that sales cycle. And that is so incredibly important when we're talking about revenue and generating revenue, is shortening that sales cycle. He was able to cut his in half. Like,
yeah, let me do the math for everybody. If he cut his sales cycle in half, what does that mean? That means he can double his sales in the next 12 months. Double.
Right. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. I'm all in. Yeah.
Yeah, that's that. When we start talking about statistics and real facts and figures like that, I get really excited. When he's talking about increasing referrals and being able to shorten the sales cycle and things like that, that's exciting to me. Businesses track that kind of thing. And if you're serious about your business, you want that shorter sales cycle. You want the increase in revenue. You want to make sure that you are connecting with people in a way that, again, a lot of other businesses aren't going to do that. I've patronized businesses for years, if not decades, and never received a thank you from any of them. And when you have a situation like that, if somebody else comes down the road that looks appealing, I'm like, sure, I'll try it, because I don't have a relationship with these people. I don't have a relationship with the business. But when you, as a business, send someone out, something to someone, and make them feel special and make them feel appreciated and let them know that you really, really appreciate them as a person, even a brand new client, a nice to meet you gift would go so far in starting to build the glue for that relationship and make it a very, very sticky one.
I could not agree more. I couldn't. There's no way, because that is exactly what we're talking about. Not a transaction, a relationship.
Exactly.
Relationships stick around forever. Transactions, guess what? Your competitors do those, and they might do them cheaper, faster, or better. And guess what? If you've got a relationship, you don't have to worry so much about your competitors. I'm not saying take your eye off your competitor, but what I am saying is keep your eye on the relationship with your customer. That's the deal.
Yes. And I will say this, I'll take it the extra mile, Joe. If people worried about the relationship with their customers as much as they worry about their competition, they're looking a lot better off. Worry about your customers. Worry about the people that are currently trusting you with their business. Yeah. And not so much about what the other guys are doing. Like Joe said, don't ignore your competition, but stand out from the competition.
Seriously, right? Jeez, put it together.
So let's think about what you're doing right now. What are you doing? If you're a small business owner or even a large business owner, what do your customers currently experience when doing business with you? Are they getting that personal connection? When somebody walks in the door for the very first time, you have no idea what the value of that customer is. You have no idea what the lifetime value of that customer is when they walk in the door for the very first time. And so whether it's $1 or $1 million, you have no idea what that is. Nobody's walking around with a t-shirt that says, I'm going to bring this much value to your business or to your company, right? So start by making that good first impression And then you don't have to worry about the rest of it. You make that good first impression, and then you get into a cycle of letting people know that you appreciate them, letting them know that you value them and that they're important to your business. And those seeds get planted, and people remember people who care about them.
I love it. I'm going to speak directly to some of the people who are listening right now to this specific nice to meet you lunch and learn. Mm-hmm. If you can't answer the question before you right now, what do your customers currently experience when doing business with you? If this question scares the living daylights out of you, because it scared me when somebody asked me at one point in my life, and it doesn't scare me anymore. Mm-hmm. But if it scares you today, or you don't have an answer, please contact somebody. Whoever turned you on to this little call today, or whoever invited you to this call them back, get a hold of them, because we have a solution. And that solution is Mailbox Power. And we can teach you to make sure your customers have an absolutely wonderful experience. And they also will always raise their hand when somebody says, hey, who's the best realtor? Oh, are you kidding me? I've got the best realtor. Who's the best CPA? Oh, I've got they will do it if you create that relationship. So if this question bothers you, I'm going to put it back on screen. If this question bothers you at your core, and you know that your business does not have a solution for the experience that your customers have with your business, please reach out. Please contact us. We're here for you. We really are. We're here to serve you.
We absolutely are, Joe. And I want you to sit with that question. And if it does bother you, then like Joe said, reach out and make sure that you're connecting with someone, and you can, it's never too late to start that relationship. It's never too late to send something to someone and let them know how much you appreciate them. It's never too late to do that. So start today.
Exactly. Oh, I love this. Because you don't have to just send cookies and brownies and things like that. You can send coffee mugs and water bottles and coasters and tape measures. Yeah. Talking about tape measures again. One of these days we'll get into a tape. Matter of fact, next week we're going to talk about why tape measures, aren't we?
Yes, I'm excited about that.
Oh yes, we finally get to talk about tape measures. And I wanted to finish, Vanessa. I have to finish this morning. My woes. I didn't finish the story. I left some people hanging. And you know how terrible that is as a presenter. You cannot do that. So this morning I had a failure with 16 people who were interested in Mailbox Power. I got 5 minutes into the presentation and I lost my technology. Zoom stopped working. My internet quit. I was able to get back on, but I couldn't share my screen. So what did I do? I talked to them for about 15 minutes and they rebooked me for 4 weeks from now. But I also shared a link from Mailbox Power that sent them a nice to meet you gift. And I didn't tell them what the gift was, but I did tell them that there was a gift on their way to their mailbox, and I really appreciated their time. Now, what did I do? I just built some intrigue. I dropped back and punted on a failure, but I sent them a gift. And the first impression of me and Mailbox Power is going to be quite different. Not just the guy who had screwed up technology this morning that couldn't finish his presentation, right? That's not going to be the impression. I will never leave that impression ever. I don't care what's going on. This is the first time that's ever really happened to me. That gift. That's it.
You were able to punt, and that is the mark of a true leader, Joe, is being able to adapt, right?
Yes.
So.
Yep.
In that case, what I love about what you just said, and what is so important for people to realize, though, is you already had a campaign set up. You already had a nice to meet you campaign set up. Joe had no idea his technology was going to go haywire this morning, right? Nope. But he was able to use one of his tools that he already set up and automatically just go to that and send that out to people, send that link out to people. They filled it out, and you got 100% response rate, right?
Oh, I did. I got a text from every single one of them right on my phone letting me know every one of them filled it out.
100% response rate to a presentation where Joe, prior to that presentation, did not know everybody sitting at the table, didn't know everyone in the room. No. Now they're going to get something in the mail from Joe. They know his technology messed up, and now they're going to get something in the mail from Joe that is a nice to meet you. It's going to make a huge impression on them and make up for the technology, which was totally not your fault, Joe, but it was one of those things we all deal with in life. You just were able to put lipstick on a pig, so to speak.
And very accurate. Yes, absolutely.
I mean, the pig being the technology, but you were able to recover and do something very, very cool for people that they're going to remember, not just what they receive in the mail, but the fact that you were able to do that and you were thinking on your feet. You already had it set up. It's a great way to resolve an issue like that. And I commend you for being that agile.
Thank you. Sometimes, I'm in it every day. It's like, okay, I can do this. Awesome. Let's send. And I love sending gifts. I just do. I got to tell you, it feels so good to push that button. It really does. And to know that that's going to land in somebody's mailbox. Oh, done. Stick a fork in me. It's over. Yep. If you want to feel good, come on over. We'll help you out. No doubt about it. We'll teach you how to use the mailbox.
There you go. Well, thank you all so much for joining us today. It has been so much fun doing this and talking about how important it is to make a good first impression. It's incredibly important. And we have so many different things that you can do to make sure that your first impression is a good one, especially in business.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you, Vanessa. Folks, don't miss next week. Ditch the Basket. Ditch the Basket is the name of what we're going to be talking about. And if you don't know what that is, that's okay. Show up. We'll be next week, 11 a.m. Pacific time. Ditch the Basket's the topic. We're going to have some fun with that one because we're finally going to get to talk about why we would use a tape measure. Crazy. Anyway, thank you, everybody. I appreciate your time today. You just gave us a half hour of your time, the most valuable asset you have. I appreciate you very, very much. And thank you, Vanessa, for being with me today and helping me with this. This is awesome.
Thanks, Joe. Thank you.
Bye-bye, everybody.